That awkward moment when the room fills with laughter, but something inside you feels off. You force a smile, maybe a small chuckle, but you know this isn't right. Is it just you? Or is there a hidden social code that dictates when laughter connects us and when it actually pushes us apart? Most people think laughter is always a good thing, a universal sign of joy. This is a dangerous oversimplification. 99% will miss the final part of this, where we build the internal framework for authentic humor that makes you magnetic. Skipping it means you risk using these rules like a robot, appearing cold and calculating instead of socially intelligent and genuinely warm. The punch down okay, let's dive right into the most important and most toxic form of humor that an intelligent person learns to spot and avoid from a mile away. This is the punch down. In the world of social dynamics and comedy, there's a simple framework. You can either punch up or punch down. Punching up is making a joke about people or systems that have more power than you: politicians, CEOs, societal norms. This kind of humor is often seen as clever, subversive, and can be a powerful tool for social commentary. It challenges the status quo. Punching down, on the other hand, is making a joke at the expense of someone with less social power or someone who is in a vulnerable position. This is the joke about the intern who made a mistake, the person with a speech impediment, the friend who just got laid off, or jokes that rely on negative stereotypes about marginalized groups. This is not humor. This is bullying disguised as a joke. Here's the science of why this is so damaging and why intelligent people steer clear. Our brains are wired for social hierarchy. We are constantly, subconsciously tracking who has status and who doesn't. When someone tells a punch-down joke and people laugh, it creates a powerful and toxic social bond among the laughers. It reinforces the in-group and violently excludes the target of the joke. For the people laughing, it can trigger a small, dark jolt of dopamine from the feeling of superiority and belonging. We are in on the joke, and they are on the outside. But for the person being targeted, and for anyone in the room with a high degree of empathy, it triggers a flood of cortisol. It is a social threat. It says, you are not safe here. Your value is conditional. You can be dismissed and ridiculed at any moment. An emotionally and socially intelligent person understands this dynamic instinctively. They recognize that participating in this kind of laughter is a short-term gain for a long-term loss of integrity and trust. When you laugh at a punch-down joke, you are co-signing the cruelty. You are sending a clear signal to everyone in the room. I am the kind of person who finds weakness amusing. I am willing to bond with others over someone else's pain. This is a massive red flag. It tells people that you are not a safe harbor. Your loyalty is conditional, and you might just as easily laugh at them the next time they are in a vulnerable position. This is why avoiding this laughter is not about being politically correct or too sensitive. It is a strategic move to build a reputation as a trustworthy, high-character individual. When you are the one person in the room who doesn't laugh at the cruel joke, but instead offers a neutral expression or subtly changes the subject, you send a powerful counter signal. You become a beacon of psychological safety. The target of the joke will remember it. The other empathetic people in the room will remember it. And even the joke teller, on some level, will register that you operate by a different, more principled code. Your silence in that moment is louder and more impactful than any forced laugh could ever be. It is a quiet declaration of your values, and it builds a deep, unshakable foundation of respect: the ignorant laugh. The second situation is more subtle, but equally important for anyone who wants to be perceived as competent and credible. This is what I call the ignorant laugh. It's the laugh of confusion, the laugh you use to cover up the fact that you have absolutely no idea what's going on. We've all been there. You're in a meeting, and someone makes a highly technical joke full of industry jargon. Everyone else, wanting to seem in the know, starts laughing. You don't get it, but the social pressure is immense. The fear of looking stupid is so powerful that you join in, letting out a hollow, nervous laugh. Or perhaps you're in a conversation with someone from a different culture, and they make a reference you don't understand, but you laugh along to avoid the awkwardness of asking for clarification. This is a huge mistake. Here's the neurochemical reason why. This laugh is born from a spike of cortisol, the stress hormone. It's a panic response. You are trying to camouflage yourself to avoid being singled out as the one who doesn't belong. While it might feel like you've successfully blended in, your nonverbal cues often betray you. The timing of your laugh might be slightly off, The sound might be a little too high-pitched. The expression on your face might not quite match. A real laugh of amusement, a Duchenne laugh, engages the muscles around your eyes, while a nervous laugh often doesn't. People with high social intelligence can spot this incongruence from a mile away. And even if they don't consciously register it, they are left with a subconscious feeling that you are not being authentic. It subtly erodes your credibility. You are signaling that you are more concerned with appearing smart than with actually being smart. The intelligent person knows that true confidence is not about having all the answers. It is about being secure enough to admit when you don't. Instead of the ignorant laugh, they employ a powerful alternative, the curious question. When the technical joke flies over their head, they wait for the laughter to die down, and then, with a genuine smile and a curious tone, they will say something like, "Okay, that one went right over my head, but I want to be in on it. Can you walk me through the reference?" This is a power move. It does three incredible things at once. First, it displays immense self-confidence. You are communicating that your ego is not so fragile that you can't admit a gap in your knowledge. Second, it shows that you are engaged and genuinely interested, which is a highly charismatic trait. Third, it's a generous act. You are giving the joke teller the opportunity to be the expert and to share their knowledge, which makes them feel good. You might also discover that half the other people laughing didn't get the joke either, and they will be silently grateful to you for having the courage to ask. By replacing the ignorant laugh with a curious question, you transform a moment of potential embarrassment into an opportunity to build rapport, display confidence, and actually learn something. It's a complete reframe from, "I must not look stupid," to, "I am always looking to get smarter." The unfinished story. This next situation requires a high degree of social attunement and emotional regulation. It's about avoiding laughter during the unfinished story. This is when someone is telling a story and you, the listener, anticipate the punchline or the funny conclusion before they get there. You see where it's going, you find it amusing, and you start to laugh. This seems harmless, even encouraging, right? But in many contexts, it can be a subtle form of social sabotage. When you laugh before the storyteller has finished, you are essentially stealing their thunder. You are taking the climax of their story away from them. The storyteller is building tension, crafting their narrative, and leading their audience to a specific destination. Your premature laughter breaks that tension and signals, "I've already figured it out. I'm ahead of you." The psychological impact of this can be surprisingly significant. For the storyteller, it can be deflating. They lose the satisfaction of landing the punchline and seeing the genuine surprise and amusement on your face. You've robbed them of their moment. It can also subtly shift the power dynamic. It makes you seem like the smart, quick-witted one who is one step ahead, and it can make them feel a little less competent. Even more importantly, sometimes your prediction is wrong. You might laugh because you think the story is heading towards a funny, lighthearted conclusion, but it might actually be heading towards a more serious, vulnerable, or even painful point. If you laugh and then the story takes a dark turn, the social damage is immense. You now look insensitive, foolish, and completely out of tune with the emotional reality of the situation. You have broken rapport in a spectacular fashion. An intelligent person cultivates the skill of active patience. They understand that listening is not just about waiting for your turn to talk. It's about creating a space for the other person to fully express themselves. They give the storyteller the gift of their full, uninterrupted attention. They hold their laughter, their assumptions, and their interjections until the story has reached its natural conclusion. They watch the storyteller's face, they listen to their vocal cues, and they wait for the signal that the punchline has been delivered. Then, and only then, do they unleash a genuine, full-bodied, and perfectly timed laugh. This kind of laugh is a reward for the storyteller. It is a validation of their skill and their humor. It says, "I was with you on that entire journey, and you brought it to a brilliant conclusion." It creates a powerful moment of shared experience and mutual enjoyment. By holding back your laughter, you are not being passive. You are being a masterful and generous audience. You are showing respect for the other person's narrative, and in doing so, earning their deep respect and appreciation in return. It's a quiet, powerful display of emotional discipline and social grace. The insecure boast. This situation is all about decoding the subtext of a conversation. An intelligent person learns to avoid laughing at what I call the insecure boast. This is when someone makes a joke that is actually a thinly veiled attempt to brag or to seek validation for one of their accomplishments. It often comes in the form of a self-deprecating comment that is clearly not meant to be taken at face value. For example, "I'm so exhausted. I was up until 3 a.m. closing that multi-million-dollar deal. I'm just a mess." Or, "Ugh, I look so terrible in this photo from the awards gala. I can't believe they put me on the front page." They are not actually looking for you to agree that they are a mess or that they look terrible. They are fishing for a very specific response. "Wow, a multi-million-dollar deal. You're not a mess, you're a superstar." Or, "What are you talking about? You look amazing. Congratulations on the award." When you laugh at this, you are essentially calling their bluff in a passive-aggressive way. This triggers a chain reaction. Others, wanting to curry favor or simply to fit in, join the laughter, and soon the whole room is laughing at something that objectively isn't that amusing. This is laughter as a social signal, not as a genuine expression of joy. It's a way of saying, "I am aligned with the leader. I am part of the in-group." Participating in this laughter is a low-value move. It makes you look like a follower, a sycophant. It shows that your reactions are not your own, but are dictated by the social hierarchy of the room. It communicates a lack of independent judgment and a need for approval from the person in power. While the high-status person might enjoy the ego boost in the moment, they rarely respect the people who provide it. They know the laughter is not genuine, and they subconsciously categorize the laughers as people who are easily swayed and perhaps not entirely trustworthy. You are blending into the crowd, but in a way that diminishes your individual standing. The intelligent person resists the pull of the echo chamber. They do not need to make a big show of their dissent. They don't need to sit there with a stony face, which could be seen as defiant. Instead, they employ a technique I call the warm smile. When the unfunny joke is told and the wave of fake laughter begins, they simply offer a warm, pleasant, and neutral smile. This smile is a brilliant piece of social communication. It says, "I heard you and I acknowledge the attempt at humor. I am friendly and engaged." But because it is not a laugh, it also says, "But my response is my own. I am not going to offer a fake reaction just to fit in." It allows you to remain part of the group in a warm and positive way while simultaneously preserving your authenticity and independence. You are neither a rebel nor a follower, you are your own person. This quiet act of social courage distinguishes you from the crowd. It signals that you have a strong inner compass and that your approval is not easily won, which ironically makes your approval more valuable. When you do laugh genuinely at something they say later, that laugh will have 10 times the impact because they will know it is real. The authentic shield, this is the final crucial piece that ties all of this together. Avoiding laughter in these situations is not about following a rigid set of rules. If you just mechanically stop laughing, you risk coming across as cold, judgmental, or socially awkward. The goal is not to become a humorless robot. The goal is to build an internal, authentic shield that makes these choices feel natural, easy, and congruent with who you are. This is about moving from, "I'm not supposed to laugh at this," to, "I have no desire to laugh at this." The first is a rule you are following. The second is an expression of your character. This shield is built on a foundation of deep, unshakable self-worth and a clear set of personal values. The first part of building this shield is to get crystal clear on what you find genuinely funny and what aligns with your values. True humor, the kind that connects people, is almost always based on shared truths, clever observations, or a sense of joyful absurdity. It's inclusive. It brings people together. Cruelty, ignorance, and insecurity, on the other hand, are the foundations of the toxic laughter we've discussed. When your internal values are clear, I value kindness, I value curiosity, I value integrity, you develop an almost allergic reaction to humor that violates those principles. The punch-down joke doesn't just feel wrong, it feels distasteful, like a bad smell in the room. You don't laugh because you are genuinely not amused. The insecure boast doesn't trigger your laughter, it triggers your empathy for the insecurity behind it. Your non-reaction is no longer a calculated strategy, it is an honest reflection of your inner state. The second part of the shield is cultivating a sense of inner security so profound that you no longer need external validation from the group. The fear that drives us to laugh at the wrong things is almost always a fear of exclusion. If I don't laugh, they won't like me. I'll be an outsider. You build your shield by diversifying your sources of self-esteem. You invest in your skills, your passions, and your relationships outside of any one group. When you know you are competent at your job, loved by your true friends, and engaged in a life that you find meaningful, the need for approval from a few people laughing at a stupid joke in a meeting becomes incredibly small. You are anchored in your own worth, so you are not easily swayed by the social currents of the room. Your silence or your warm smile is not an act of defiance, it is an act of peace. It is the calm of someone who knows who they are and is not willing to betray that for a fleeting moment of social acceptance. This is the ultimate power. It is the quiet, unshakable confidence that allows you to navigate any social situation not with a list of rules, but with a deeply integrated sense of your own integrity. Laughter is a beautiful, powerful tool, but like any tool, its impact depends entirely on the intention and wisdom of the person wielding it. The most intelligent people in any room understand this. They know that what you choose not to laugh at is often a more powerful statement of your character than what you do. It is a subtle, sophisticated, and deeply resonant signal that you are a person of substance, safety, and unwavering integrity. What's a situation where you felt pressured to laugh but didn't feel right about it? Share your story in the comments.